Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 129 of Kouryer podcast. Our today's guest is Mr. Kait Kybar. He's a concept artist and illustrator from Estonia. Now, with that quick introduction out of the way, let's just jump into the first question I ask every guest. Give us a little introduction on how you got into the worlds of visual arts and design.
Ooh, okay. It was a really long time ago already. At that time it was a little bit easier, I would say, because I barely knew Photoshop, and just the only way to start was basically take the pencil and paper and just do that. And I was lucky enough to got to play video games, and then obviously from that that already kind of opened a lot of kind of this kind of visual doors, I would say, like because I was always interested in these cover arts, for example, and I didn't really know how it was made. So and yeah, you had to make some kind of research a little bit, like obviously it wasn't painted, so it was like digital touch on that on those cover pictures, and then I found out about this Paint Shop Pro, Photoshop, and I think it was Illustrator even that they used to color comic books and these video game covers. So I don't know. I always wanted to be more about this drawing these video games rather than doing the video games. So I don't know. Probably this artist spark was already somehow kind of planted in me already. Because when we started back in the days, a lot of artists started to kind of build build levels or something like this, do basic modeling. But yeah, I kind of stick with this illustration. I guess I like to draw more. But now everything kind of came back together. Now we have to build almost 3D models, and so it became more technical these days. But yeah, so that was kind of.
All right. And actually, from the stuff you said, I have another question. So, if I'm not wrong, like right now, as you know better than me, like in concept art scene, like the use of 3D assets and models on in the process of concept, in the pipeline of the concept art, is way more common, like just using 3D assets for environments and everything, and just paint over them a little bit to make it feel like a painting. But as opposed to let's say 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't as common. Like there's been some sort of change in trend. How would you describe do you think it's in a good direction, like in terms of production? I mean, of course it's way more efficient, but in general, in terms of the art aspect of it, what do you think about this?
Well, yeah, good one. I think it's I like it because I have this kind of background already. I can easily fall back to this let's say, how to say, it's I'm not worried about this creative, not the creative side, but more like this artistic side, because I already have it, because I've kind of worked on this many years. So if I have to build something now, it's more technical. But I wonder if the nowadays, when someone starting to make concept art, it might be a little bit confusing, because you start to build levels right away, because everything is 3D now in concept art. So you kind of have to force yourself in back to the artistic side again. So maybe it's even harder, because I'm not sure, but hard to say. I guess you need both skills anyway, this artistic side and the technical side these days. So, and the artistic side is I don't know if it's harder, but it kind of feels like it's harder. So yeah, there is so much to learn anyway. in technical side, obviously also quite a lot, but not as it seems like not as much. And doing all this artistic side, you have to love it. That's the thing. You need to kind of want to go through the whole art school, I would say. And it's I've seen some guys who change, and let's say they start doing 3D, and then they go back and start doing 2D, and they kind of like it, and this kind of then it builds again like this in the same way. So you have this you have a concept artist who has actually 3D background. It's kind of it. Yeah, it works both ways, but not easy anyway.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And were you originally like studying art and design, like let's say when you were in high school? Like, did you know from back then that I'm going to like become an artist like in the future, or there were doubts during those times? Like you thought maybe I have to go to another route, a much more stable route. What
Well,
was that whole journey for you?
yeah, that's the thing. I was quite sure already, but the problem was that there was nothing I can actually work with. So the only option was to move to US, but I wasn't ready for that kind of adventure at that time. So you have this kind of nice reference pictures in your on your table, but the environment, if you go out, let's say the environment didn't support that at all, because the only companies that we had was some kind of crappy casino company, and that wasn't that. So you felt it already that you want to do something, but the whole industry wasn't there yet. So I had to wait until it's still not there. So that's why I have to freelance. So it's kind of crazy, but. But well, it's and that's the thing. You just you can't really give up either. So then you have to kind of work what you have. Um, and so we did some this casino stuff, like usually it happens, and some graphic design, and but a lot of people, most people actually, they stayed in these kind of fields, like, and all the schools that we have here, or mostly in Europe, or anyway, it's kind of more graphic design and advertising and these kind of fields. But for us, there's always a little bit. I don't know why, because the gaming industry was always really really big, like just crazy big, and somehow no one didn't really took it seriously here. And but but yes, nowadays maybe it's working a little better, because the Polish guys are doing really good, for example. And but I kind of lost the question a little bit, I think. What was the journey? Yeah. uh, But yeah, well, I guess I answered. I hope I answered.
Yeah, you did. And actually, during your answers, I kind of noticed something else, because I also like, before, of course, I ask a guest to come on the show. I do a little research on like, on their
Yeah.
stuff, like, what their genre is and stuff like that. And I realized something that you kind of, I don't know if you're still doing that, but for a while you used to be a digital nomad, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
And
we had to.
yeah, and how was it like? That digital nomad life, like how did it started, and like why, like the whole deal.
Um, I would say two things. Just being stupid. I would say being naive and stupid, and also afraid that. I don't also a little bit adventurous, because, like I said, there was no industry here in Eastern Europe, I would say. So, and when you're a little bit naive and adventurous, then you just go somewhere where the industry is. So, like I said, US was a little bit too far. I wasn't really sure if I can go there, but I got this. So I went to Asia instead, which is even more crazier. So, but yeah, then I got interview with Gorilla Games. So without that, I'm not sure. Well, it's hard to say actually what would happen if you take some kind of something out from your past, so you can't predict the future anyway. But it was in that sense it was a little bit forced, because if someone puts the gorilla contract on a table, so you can't say no. So in that sense, the digital nomad this life kind of went short, because then I got hired, but I was still abroad, so it was a little bit different because I think it was easier actually back in the days a little bit to travel. Also, I don't know if you're a little bit naive. It's I think it's easier. Then you don't really find these. If I look back, it's like that's like plain stupidity that I actually did some crap there, because yeah, just. I guess I'm lucky that I'm still here, because some places were just I don't dare to go back in some places, but when you're like just just a random naive dude, just to go through it, like, and nothing happened basically. But but yeah, even then, the internet was everywhere. Just you go to cheaper places and just try to survive, and then just doing some random freelance. Luckily, Kouryer guys were interested, and that actually, I guess, it saved me. I would say, because another thing is that if I look back, being in a studio actually kind of builds your this kind of style also. So this, maybe it's another topic, but I was starting to think that when I was traveling, your works were a little bit like different. Every client was different. Every work was different. So you didn't really build your kind of like you were all over the place a little bit. But if you're hired in a studio, then you start to build your own kind of. And then you have to be a little bit lucky that you are with the studio that you actually like, or fits with your, not the style, but fits with yourself. So I would say like that was a big, huge kind of huge step, and I was really lucky that I kind of Killzone was really my style, and all the guys there were really really nice, and so that changed everything, I would say. And then I started this nomad thing also.
All right.
Still doing it. Just recently, I tried again, but then I realized, oh shit, I'm not that naive and stupid anymore, so I can't really travel like this anymore. Your work quality gets lower really fast. That's another problem. If you don't have this really high quality works, then it doesn't matter. Then you can go around and travel. But if you have to deliver really really quality stuff, then I don't recommend to actually. Depends on your. I guess it depends on your style also. If let's say if you're doing really high quality matte paintings, I think it's hard to kind of travel. But if you're just using iPad, yeah, then it doesn't matter.
All right. And let's go to a little bit more technical question.
Yeah.
How does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a new project or new piece, like whether it be personal or for like, maybe for a studio, it doesn't matter. Like, how does your pipeline look like, the structure of it?
Ideally, it will be nice to have like a couple of days off, not just off, but I mean just collecting some ideas and just thinking about it. But usually I don't do that. Even though I have those days off, I still start doing the work right away. I don't know why. I know it's wrong, so that's why I don't recommend it. I recommend just take, if you can, take some days off, collect this reference, and just think about what you want to do. But it's always like you want to impress, then you start doing it, and then after a few days you start to kind of, or maybe at the end of the week, then you realize that, oh shit, I should have taken those days off actually. But mostly that's a problem. I start right away starting to build the whole thing, and then fix it later, which is not good, but it kind of works for me. But yeah, I try not to kind of rush it at first, but it still happens all the time. So, but these days, the 3D part is really, it helps you a lot. If you make a mistake, you still have the assets. You can, uh, if you start building assets, then those will stay with you at the end of the project. So you can always use them, which is really great. Because if you're doing only 2D, uh, then you have to be really, really kind of think through what are you actually drawing. Because if something doesn't work, you have to do it again. In 3D, if you have 3D, assets to work with, then I think it's easier. That's why I try to kind of build more and stay kind of in this 3D world. But yeah, mostly that's how it works. I start to build assets, and then I kind of approach it as, if you buy a Lego piece, or this, not only one piece but the whole thing from a store, and then just collect those pieces. And when you have this new project, you know that, oh, okay, I have the whole this Kit Bash collection that I can actually use or sketch, and that makes life kind of easier. So yeah, build assets, and then just read, just a lot of drawing, a lot of building, just thinking, and then at one point you will see that, okay, this is what I actually want. So I don't know, yeah, the 3D kind of makes it way easier to start actually the whole thing. You don't have to think about the. I really didn't like perspective, for example. I really tried to learn it, and I think I mastered it at the end. But I always struggled with it. Now it's gone. At least you can always use 3D now.
All
So yeah,
right.
that's, I guess it's kind of important, but it doesn't mean it makes it easier though. Uh, Still, you have to think about the whole thing,
Yeah,
ideas and
definitely.
everything.
And all right, the next question is kind of like an interesting one, which is I always get like really interesting stories from every guest, which is what was the first art job paycheck you ever got? What was it for, and when did you got it, and how did you feel at the time when you got it? Got the paycheck actually.
Is paid job like I think I guess you mean something that was something that you were proud of, something that is what was in your kind of field. Because like I said, with this kind of casino bullshit and everything, it kind of paid well, but it wasn't really. I wasn't never kind of proud of it. So, but this concept art, I would say maybe. I think the last, Jesus, think the last projects that the very last one that I have right now, this is something that actually I'm really, really kind of proud of. So that's kind of sad, actually. But the first one, well, yeah, I think this is the worst one now. But well, Gorilla was also before that. Uh, what was I think yeah I think I mentioned why I've mentioned this before that I did a book cover. It's just a random writer just asked me that maybe I can help him out, and it was really nice because it was always it felt kind of honest somehow that he was really really glad and I was really really glad. So it was a little bit more than just I got paid and he got something. It kind of we both were really happy with the collaboration, I would say. So I don't know what is that. Maybe I guess doing something with other artists. Maybe it's something that kind of to help them and. And I still remember this guy was so blown away because the writer didn't, he never saw this kind of world that I made for him. You know, when he wrote the script or the book, he had something in his mind, probably stories, but he never saw the full picture because I guess his mind didn't really work like this in a visual way. He was just a storyteller. So when he saw the picture, he was really really happy. That was kind of that was something that it wasn't really money related. It was more like you can see that you made someone happy. It was more about that actually, and yeah, yeah, that's that, I guess. So yeah,
Uh,
I would recommend doing more of this kind of. I think Spart is doing quite a lot of book covers, so that's maybe it's something. Maybe there is something. Okay.
all right. And who are your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
Oh, there you go. I already said. Spart, yeah. Uh, I think yeah he was really he is really good. I mean, uh, but these days there's so many. But and also Craig Mullins is the grandfather basically. He's and recently, yeah, just I don't know, few hours ago, this George Hull, maybe is the designer who is doing the Dune and Matrix and all these kind of. He's the kind of boss designer there, and so he liked my message. So it's like, holy shit! It's really really cool to because you always kind of thought that they're gods, and now they just like your kind of you like them their art, and they like you that you like them. It's kind of really really it's really neat that. Ryan Church, even it's really cool that all these kind of old masters they are actually active in social media. That you can actually talk with them if you want. It's crazy. It's good to know. So, but I guess. Well, yeah, I'm getting older. I guess I just want to say that all the old guys are just really good. But of course, there is a huge, just thousands of new, just mind blowing artists as well. So it's really hard to kind of keep the track on them. But and then I always kind of recommend to go even further. Not to digital art is one just part of the whole thing. I would recommend to just actually watch the older masters even, and way older because they all they they figured everything out already. So except the technical, they didn't have 3D, so that's another story. But yeah, checking old masters, it's always kind of good exercise. But yeah, okay. Guess that's that.
All right. And what area beside the area you're working on right now, which is of course art and illustration and concept art and all of that, would you be interested to explore and learn in the future, given if you had like enough free time?
You mean something else?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's I know a lot of most artists. They're playing some music instruments, but the thing is that for I don't know, is for me it was always this and only this, because I guess it was a little bit like escape also, but I think that in this kind of field you have so much to do that you don't really have any time for everything else. But I know it's the excuse, but because it's not really true. But if you, yeah, it's yeah. If sometimes when I go out, I still I can't really escape from this. I go out, I start kind of looking. I don't know how things are built and this kind of stuff. So it gets never boring. But if I have to do something else, let's say, yeah, if uh, I never thought about it actually. Driving the car, I guess. I don't know, building the car maybe. Uh, building some kind of building something like this. I guess some technical stuff. It kind of helps, but that's the thing. You can build stuff in our field as well. So it's endless. You get never bored. So it's in a way it's good, but I know it could be some kind of trap that I tell myself, because if you look around, all the artists are doing everything else. Then in their free times they try not to do art. I don't know. I guess people are different, but I like it a lot. So of course you can just there are million things to do except art. But yeah. Just I guess if I want to recommend, just if you listen what's happening inside you, that's a good guiding light. If you don't want to do art on Sunday or something, then just listen what if you want to go out, I don't know, just walking or whatever, just do that. And but I don't have this.
All right.
Yeah.
And okay, so we've reached the final question or section of the podcast, which I mean appropriately called, final words. All right, I'm gonna
Oh,
explain what it is. Imagine in like a limited amount of time, um, you have the opportunity in this window of time to leave a message or messages from yourself to any other listener of the podcast that might be listening to the podcast in the future, maybe in weeks, months, years, decades, who knows. So in that situation, like, if you like, let's say you had like a certain, like a limited amount of time and you could, as I said, leave anything you want, say anything you want, what would those be?
yeah. So like last words or ideas or words? What's it? Words? Yes.
Anything that comes to
Okay.
your
Okay.
mind.
I should have prepared this because it's kind of obvious question at the end, but I think it's kind of yeah. There's a lot to say. Maybe it's something that uh, don't. It's kind of cheesy, but don't give up. Look, everybody says that, but it's kind of really wide meaning behind it, because shit happens, and when it happens, it's don't give up, and don't get bitter or bad. Just be strong and just just try to survive. It's you will, and yeah, be strong. I would say that
All right.
helps.
Awesome. And actually, the reason I don't really try to tell these questions before I guess is because your answer was perfect. I really liked it. You know why? Because it
Okay.
was genuine. It was pure. You didn't
Uh-huh.
it came out of you But if you had time to prepare it, you would probably prepare some curated ready-made answers,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's not
yeah, yeah,
fun.
yeah. Yeah,
But for
because
example, yeah,
yep. Yeah, that's a it's easy. It seems like easy question, but it's damn hard to kind of
yeah,
answer it. Actually, it's just your mind starts to kind of collapse. Actually, but it's good. It's cool because yeah. It's especially it's a little bit hard because I haven't really talked with someone quite some time, and then you start to kind of think like, oh shit, I don't know how to put those words in the sentence. So, but yeah, hope it worked.
all right. Thank you
I
so
hope,
much
I
for
hope it's
coming by.
useful.
Yeah, and
Sure.
thank you to anyone who tuned in and listened to this episode. By the way, if anyone had any question for contacting, can I put your Instagram in the caption? Is that good for contact?
Yeah, of course, of course.
And I also want to mention that you also have a Gumroad link on your bio as well. I'm going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
put
yeah.
that in the caption of the podcast as well.
It's damn, it's old, but well, yeah, it's still maybe it's useful. So
Yeah,
if I have time, I definitely start to update this Gumroad thing as well because yeah, sharing is caring.
yeah, yeah. And for anyone who's wondering, they can check that out as well in the captions.
Yep.
And with that being said, take care, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, sir, as well for coming by. Have a
Sure.
great day, everyone. Until next episode. Bye.
Bye.